future. But he did, and I think he lasted about a week and a half.
How do you stop Haaland? How does West Ham stop Haaland? How does anybody stop Haaland? 34 goals in the Premier League in 30 matches, 7 assists. He's played in the Champions League 8 times, scored 12 goals. The League Cup twice, scored 1 goal. The guy is on fire. But how do you stop a player like Haaland? Do you stop a player like Haaland? Can you stop a player like Haaland? Who has stopped a player like Haaland? What a ridiculous, ridiculous player. You know, when I think about Haaland, take this on board, what I'm about to say, and try and understand what I'm about to say. He's the world's best basic footballer. I said it from the start of the season when we played West Ham and he single-handedly took us down, that he does the basic things in football to the highest of standards, to the #1 standard that you need to do. He breaks defenses. He penetrates defenses. He knows how to put the ball in the back of the net, and he bosses any other player in and around him. He absolutely dominates in his physicality and in his technical ability to put the ball in the back of the net. This is a baller, but can anybody stop him? Can West Ham, who are so inconsistent this season, stop Haaland for the game on Wednesday evening? What a mean feat West Ham have got ahead of us. It's a bloody ridiculous task to even ask anybody to do. But if we are going to try and get something from the game against Man City, then we need to find a way to keep Haaland quiet. He scored so many goals this season. He's nearly at 50 goals for the season. You know, he's about to potentially take on the famous Dixie Dean's English record of 63 goals in his sight for a season in all competitions. Brentford and Chelsea are the only 2 Premier League teams to stop Haaland scoring this season. And how will West Ham fare with that? Is it about cutting off the supply chain? Is it about cutting off the supply chain? And I suppose you could say that's how Brentford dealt with him again in the game when they beat Manchester City 2-1 at the Etihad back in November. Thomas Frank told his midfielders to press Kevin De Bruyne and deny him time on the ball. And that tactic worked, and Haaland was restricted to just 1 shot across the 90 minutes. And that could be a crucial reason as to how West Ham can try and get through this game, and preventing the source to get to, you know, the outcome is definitely one way. But that has to be done in a right way for him to allow us to be able to manage not just De Bruyne, but all the abundance of players that Manchester City have. And this is where the problem arises. Another thing you can do to alleviate in Haaland is potentially defend deeper. People won't like this, but he showcased his blistering pace on the opening day of the season with 2 goals against my and your beloved West Ham, and he exploited the high line at the London Stadium that day, and countless other teams have been punished for leaving space in behind him to run into. And what's been impressive with him is that he's big for transitions, and over 30 or 40 meters, he is literally unstoppable. So defending deep was also part of the Brentford plan. They sat closer to their penalty area to restrict the amount of space that Haaland had to gallop into. And yes, literally, it's like a bloody horse coming at you, no matter what defender's there. He likes to run from behind, and he's just a full pelting, full force machine and a unit. But you need the whole team to work in unity, especially the centre-backs, which I can probably see West Ham potentially filling up that area back there as well. Yes, I know we've got a few injuries, and you need to play the perfect game on the day in order to keep him quiet as well. Something else you could do is just don't engage with him. Do not engage with him. He's got electric pace, but he's got an exceptional strength. I just mentioned it there, like a galloping horse. Arsenal had problems with him earlier in the season when they had a previous trip back at the Etihad, and they lost 1-0 in the third round of the FA Cup. One player in particular, Rob Holding, who's, he's done all right for Arsenal this year, played and tried to go toe-to-toe with Haaland, and it did not go well. And he was booked early on with a tussle with him, and then he was pulled off at halftime. And Haaland is a master of the dark arts, and he loves to get under the skin of defenders by throwing his weight around. He's a powerful lad, and he likes a little bit of a jostle, to be honest. He loves that battle. Ben Mee, earlier in the season, when he played for Brentford against Man City, said that he pinches here and there, and he gets stuck in, and he's not scared to get stuck in with the other defender. And West Ham, I think, are going to have to keep their cool against Manchester City and the likes of someone like Haaland, if we are even going to stand a remote chance of getting something from this game. How do you stop Haaland? How to stop Erling Haaland? The answer is, I don't bloody know if you can. 34 goals in the Premier League this season, 7 assists. You've just watched this game. He's a world-class, best footballer you'll see or has seen for such a long time. He knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. I've given you a couple of pointers there. Who am I to say that? Because I tell you what, if you listen to me, and if West Ham listen to me and we get a result, then I shouldn't be sitting here doing this. I should be in the dugout. But how do you stop Haaland? I think the answer we all know is you probably don't. But what we need to do is just turn up and do a job and show the fight and show the determination. And the problem you've got is if you just concentrate on one player, you're going to be left short elsewhere because they've got an abundance of quality players in their midst. And that's what we need to keep an eye on moving forward. Listen, never say never. Never say die. I certainly don't think West Ham are going to turn up there and try and consolidate anyway. So let's get the fans on the side. Let's sing loud and proud. Let's prove why we belong in the Premier League. And let's send ripples into this Premier League. And let's get safety. One opportunity to get safety. We've got something to fight for. They've got something to fight for. It's going to make for an interesting game. Let's just hope we go down within 1 minute, because that could be a disaster for us. Anyway, thanks for watching. Put some comments in. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you like it as well. Come on, you irons.